And the photos just came through as well.
Cool. All right. I think we're recording. Yeah, we're good. All right. Welcome to interview number 9. I have the beautiful Sia Psicharis with me from Beautyologist, and I'm pretty excited to do this interview today. Mainly because I remember being at the Australian Beauty Industry Awards about, I don't know, it must have been about 3 or 4 years ago. And I swear to God, every category was like, Beautyologist, Beautyologist. It's like, who is this person? So I'm pretty excited to interview Sia today. This is interview number 9 in the top 100 successful salon and spa owners in Australia. And like I keep saying each week, the beauty of this was it was peer nominated. So it was people who recognize other people's efforts in the industry, rather than just a panel or whatnot. So I think it's really, really cool. And so far, the information and content we've got from the 8 previous to this has been pretty awesome. So I do have Sia with me today. And before we start, Sia, I printed this out. I just wanted to read your ABI awards. So ABI Australian Beauty Salon of the Year 2012 for 4 rooms and less. Australian Director of the Year 2012. Australian Retail Salon of the Year 2012. Australian Retail Salon of the Year 2013. Australian Beauty Business Quality Award 2014. Advanced Skin Technology Salon of the Year Award 2014. Australian Salon Honoree 2014. Best Customer Care Award 2015. Beauty Salon Award 2000, Best Beauty Salon Award 2015, Salon Spa Director Award 2015, Best Beauty Salon Award 2016, and Salon Spa Director Finalist 2016. That is unbelievable. How do you do it?
Oh, Billy, I think the main thing is the number one thing. I think that goes across no matter which industry you're in. It doesn't really matter. You have to love what you do.
Yeah.
It's actually that simple. You've got to really be in it. You've got to be focused and dedicated, but it all comes back to loving what you do.
So then let's just rewind, because I really want to get into that, but let's just rewind. You opened Beautyologist in 2005, yeah?
That's correct, yes. So I started...
Let's go back a little bit further than that if we can. Tell me, when did you start in the beauty industry and how did it all start for you and everything?
Sure. So I actually studied fashion first. So straight from school, I wanted to be a fashion designer. So went off, did that, loved it.
Awesome.
Working in China when my boss said to me, you need a massage. I was literally on the ground sketching all day. And I remember her, she walked into my room and said to me, I'm sending you for a massage. No problem. It was really late at night, and I remember her directions. You've got to walk down this road, turn left, go into this alleyway, up this escalator, down. Anyway, 9 p.m. at night in Hong Kong by myself.
Awesome.
And I had my first massage, and it was at the Blind Institute in Kowloon. So being massaged, it was my first massage, and I was massaged by completely blind therapists, which absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah.
Got back from there and decided I need to study massage. So found a really good school at the time and started to go to night school. So I was in fashion during the day and studying massage at night.
And this was in Hong Kong?
No. This was back in Melbourne. So I came back came back and was working in fashion during the day. Going to school at night. So that's how I started. Always struggled with my skin. So one thing then led to the next, and I just kept going. Never looked back.
Awesome. So then you how long was it before when you graduated to opening Beautyologist?
Sure. So it was a few years. It was at least 10 years.
Okay.
And Beautyologist wasn't born straight away. I was a sole trader for 2 years. So I was renting space from the back of a hairdressing salon, which was completely different to the day spas that I'd worked at, where everything was quiet and relaxed. But it was a sidestep that I kind of resisted, but I'm so glad that I did it.
Yeah. And then Beautyologist was born, and
absolutely.
And then everyone else never won any more awards ever.
No. I've been very quiet lately. I've been working on the back end, so we've put the awards to rest for a little bit, and yeah.
Give someone else a chance. I want to actually just talking about your your fashion. I love it how in your bio it actually says, with a love affair for fashion, Sia's style is gracefully feminine, incorporating a splash of black lace. Sia loves her short, well-manicured nails with a polish that matches her signature bright red lipstick that pops. Now, for people watching this, Sia and I have been trying to organise this interview for ages. We keep going back and forth, trying to organise it. And so this interview today was actually quite impromptu. Like, we didn't know that we were going to do this today. So it's so funny that you've got this in your bio and then we do this impromptu interview. And look, lipstick, lace.
Oh, there you go, there's the lace.
I love that. It's all about the brand, right?
That's right, that's right.
Self-branding. So let's go back a little bit to the early days of Beautyologist. How did you find your first couple of years in business?
Sure. So I do remember working, because I've got a retail space. So the front of Beautyologist is actually a retail space. So I remember thinking, okay, well then how am I going to do this financially? And so that was a really big, I guess, part of our growth was to have a retail space in the front, which will obviously bring clients in, and then being able to then move those into salon clients, and then those salon clients that come to us, being able to move them into retail. Awesome. So being able to balance that in the beginning was interesting because I couldn't afford to have lots of different staff on to manage the retail section and the beauty section. So a lot of the time it was moving between rooms, hearing the door open, so it was a lot of that going on. But then after we kind of got through, I guess, the first year, I was able to then bring on more staff and have everything a little bit more isolated. So we had the retail section ran on its own, and then we had the beauty section, the beauty rooms.
Awesome. And what were some of the biggest challenges? I mean, for people who are tuning in, like I said, this is interview number 9. So we've done 8 before, and this is kind of an evolving beast, and we're sort of learning about how to take these interviews and direct them in a certain way. But I guess one thing we've learned is that the audience that we're getting, all the feedback we're getting is from such a diverse group of people. So we've got salon owners who are not yet salon owners, who are, either thinking about taking that plunge or just about to open. Then we've got people who have just opened up and they're sort of like, in their nervous sort of first 12 months. And then we've got super experienced people who are not doing so well. They've had a big downward turn. And then obviously we have successful people who are watching as well. So in those first few years, what were some of the biggest challenges apart from the retail space? And that, as a business owner, was it quite a steep learning curve for you, or had you learned a lot of this before you got into it?
No, definitely not. So everything that I did, I learned, and that was the one thing with me, that I just went slow. Risks, I couldn't afford to take risks. So everything that I did was just on a small scale. So cash flow is one major thing for us because obviously of the amount of stock that we were carrying. So I remember certain things in the beginning. One of our candle orders, I chose out of 12 in the range, I remember choosing 6 fragrances, and I remember my first order were only 6 of each candle. And it was just a matter of how I was going to, that was all I could afford to have. So it was how was I going to merchandise to make this look full, because product sells product. So the more you have in stock, the more it looks on the shelf, the better support you're going to have. So it was learning how to merchandise things and make things look fuller. But yeah, cash flow is one of the biggest things. So being able to manage your cash flow. And the one thing that I did was I had some accounts on 30 days and some accounts I would pay up front. So don't be afraid to do that. Try and work out a plan where if that's what you need to do for some people, some companies will offer discounts if you pay straight away your invoices. So manage who those are going to be.
Yeah. And I speak to a lot of people in the industry who say, finance to them is almost like a dirty word. Like they don't quite understand and they don't want to understand it. It's sort of like, I'll just let my bookkeeper deal with that, or I'll let my partner deal with that. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. My phone's ringing. Sorry. So what sort of advice do you give to people who don't really understand a profit and losses yet, or they don't understand a cash flow yet, and it's kind of, when they think about it, it's kind of overwhelming to them? And
Yeah.
I don't know, because for me personally, that was one of the biggest lessons I learned in business as well, is that at the start, I was probably the opposite to you. I didn't do things small enough. Like I was all just like, oh, let's do it. And I just do all these big things. And then I looked at the cash flow afterwards and went, oh, I probably should have just held back.
I think you always look at a cash flow and freak out. Like, I don't think there's, even if you go slow or go fast, or you're always going to freak out. I think the main thing is we have all these myobs and zero and all of that. I think if you can simplify it and make your own, it might be easier. Like, that's also another thing, like separate all your suppliers. And I mean, I've got loads of suppliers now, but I guess a salon who's just, who is a salon and doesn't have as many suppliers will find it a little bit easier. But maybe make your own spreadsheets so that you can actually simplify, not have the loads of things that are on, you know, that make things a little bit complicated with zero and myob.
Yeah.
But, you know, even to this day, I'm still having a lot of things explained to me. We do look at what we're doing, but to me, I just see numbers and lines. That's what a spreadsheet looks like to me.
Yeah.
But getting it explained to you. So I've got a business coach. I've got somebody of my accountant, my bookkeeper. We all look at that, and we're all on the same page together.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about your team then. That's one of the topics that has come up a lot in the interviews we've done so far. And I guess I want to talk to you about how you manage your team as well. I mean, you know, I gave you the accolades at the start about all the awards you've won, but I'm sure you'd be the first person to say, well, it's me and my team who have made these awards. So how do you manage your team, and what advice would you give to people who are either looking to build a really good team or having a few challenges with their team at the moment?
Sure. So my team is an incredible mix of women. They really are, and they really I think it's knowing your values. You need to set your values up for your team, and then you need to hire according to your values. So the girls that we have on board, I think, really encompass all our values as a business. So it makes it a little bit easier. And then as a business, always coming back to your values. And ensuring that we are being integral and we are doing everything that is Beautyologist. Of course, there's always going to be, you know, there's always struggles where, we're not perfect, and we do have our moments, certainly. It is a very hard thing. I mean, I certainly didn't go to a business school and learn how to manage people. Every day. But I think the main thing is I work on the floor as well. So I am there. I am approachable. We try and we do training all the time. We have weekly meetings and weekly training sessions, whether our staff get sent out or whether we have them on the floor. So I think it's just a matter of trying to not let things fester, talking about them, having open discussions, open meetings, and keeping your staff engaged.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. And again, people who are following this series are going to be like, oh, Billy just keeps repeating himself. But that's okay. That's the kind of the point of this of these interviews, is to try and find out what the trends are. And so I guess one of the things I really wanted to touch on there with what you said was that you're probably the third person so far who has said that you built a business around your values. And I guess now that I've heard this the first time I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I love that you do that. Second time I was like, oh, you know, such and such said this as well. But now I've had 3 in 9. So this is the 9th interview. You're the third person. So that's 33%. Yeah. Of people now are saying, you know, I've built my business around my values, and I've recruited based on my values, and I ensure that everything is Beautyologist. I loved it how you just referred to it's like, you know, it's an adjective. Beautyologist is an adjective. It's like Beautyologist. You're doing Beautyologist. And so how do you enforce those values? Not enforce, but how do you pass those values on? Is it just something, the way you talk to people, or is it something you do at the start and you induct people into that? How do you really build that culture based around your values?
Sure. So we have our very strong mission, right? And what we want to do is we want to change everybody's skin. So everyone that walks through the door. So that's our main goal. Our main goal is to service everybody's skin and make everybody happy within the skin. So when we dissect that, we're looking at things like, okay, so what does that mean? So it means being, I guess, integral to where we're at. It means being very honest at the quicker solution for the client in the healthiest way. So there's lots of little different things that happen to that. So everything that we do, it comes back to, okay, did we do that correctly? Were we honest? Were we transparent? Were we integral? So, when there's a complaint, we bring it back. Okay, well, where did we fall out of our values? What did we not do correct here? So it's not so much as it's not enforcing it, it's just bringing it always back to find out, okay, so what could we have done better? What do you think we didn't do right here?
Yeah.
And, I have it all, it's in front of us every day.
I was just about to ask, so is this Sia? Or is this Beautyologist? And what I mean by that is if Sia decides to go on a 12-month holiday, I'm sure you'd love that. If you decide to go on a 12-month holiday and you just left the business to its own devices, would you be confident when you got back that the same values would be in place? Or is it something that you drive personally each day?
No, I am super confident that they would be in place. Why? Because we survey every client.
Yes.
And our results are incredible. We we have a few measures in place to ensure that happens. And really, I do go away, and it's always like, we do have a lot of things in place to make sure that look, there's going to be times where we do, and like I said, and it only helps us grow. Like, I'm not going to say we don't get negative feedback. Of course we do, but we don't ignore it either, and that does help us grow.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one of the quotes I posted on one of my groups this morning, or pages, I'm not sure which one it was, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and he was talking about this quote that reminded me when I read some Robert Kiyosaki, and it said, I think it's in Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it says, broke people say, I can't afford it. Wealthy people say, how can I afford it? Mm-hmm. And so it's about, does the world happen to you, or do you create the world, basically? And so the other thing you spoke about before was making sure that training was a priority for you. And I guess a lot of Salon, and I guess as we move along with these 100 interviews, I think for myself, this is a personal journey for me as well. And I think already I can see that I think the questions are going to get a little bit, not harder, I wouldn't say harder, but I want to ask more hard-hitting questions. So I guess not of you, and it's more about sending the message to other people and hoping that they can get something from it. So I guess the people who say, I can't afford training, or I can't afford to have my team away for that long, or I can't afford to close the clinic down for a day to do training, so what sort of advice would you give to those sort of salon owners? Because I'm a big one in training. I've got a military background, and that's all we ever did was just training. So I love the concept of training, and everyone I've spoken to so far has said how important it is to them, and you've said the same thing. So how important is it to you, and how much of a priority do you place on this, and what advice would you give to other people about their training routines?
Sure. Look, I think everyone's different and every salon's different. And there's been times where we've had to prioritise our training depending on what's going on. Like, we're not going to send someone out during Spring Racing Carnival, and we're not going to send someone out, in November or December. Yeah. But there are quiet times, and I think that you can certainly schedule those in. It is a massive priority to us. Like, I've got a new girl going through at the moment, and we're not holding back her training. We are in there with her, and I'm actually sending her out just after Spring Racing Carnival to do more training. So I guess it's the way that I see it is, do you want to hold back your business because you need to give up 2 days of training or 3 days of sending someone out? I don't want to hold anyone back. I don't want to hold back my clients. It comes back to our values. I want to service every customer that walks through that door. So why am I going to hold back my staff member from training?
Yeah, I love that. So what sort of training do you offer with your staff? Is it mainly about the skin, or do you do other things in your business like customer service training and sales training and whatnot?
Sure. So yes, so there's lots of different elements. Obviously, there's training on the services that we personally provide. Then there's training of skincare training, which sometimes we send the girls off to the actual skincare companies,
Yep.
or we bring them indoors. Then there's also the way that we like to speak to our customers. So we have a certain language that we prefer all our girls to be using. We have a book which outlines almost like a blueprint of when a customer walks in, how we like her to be treated, how we like her to be spoken, what we don't like being spoken about.
Which is just as important.
Absolutely. So words we don't like being used.
Yeah.
We have a certain blueprint, and each girl, when she comes on board, she's taken through. It takes about 2.5 hours to get through this book, but it's actually a really interesting, and it's things that it's what's going to make someone successful with Beautyologist, and it goes to about
your brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. So I guess that what it sounds like is that you've started with something really, really small, and then you've kind of grown into a little bit bigger, and then you obviously with all your awards now and where you're at right now, and you said you're doing some work in the background, in the back end this year and developing even further. I guess one of the things we're hearing back is from smaller salons that, well, I just can't do that in my business because it's so small, or I can't have these team meetings because I just don't have a big team. It would seem silly if it's just me and 2 other girls. How did you go on your journey? I mean, is there certain things that they have to, or that you would recommend that they bring into their business, even if they are very small now, in order to assist them with their growth? And as they do grow, what sort of new meetings and training and development do you have in place as you went through that transition yourself?
Well, a team is still a team, even if there's 2 or 3 people in there, and it's mainly just about communication. So, and a blueprint of when a client first comes in, a client is still coming into your doors. So whether there's 1 person, 2 people, 3 people greeting her, it's still a team. So that shouldn't limit anybody. That might just be more of an excuse to not do it. I think it's still very important. You've really got to make time for training. I mean, it's people, we are humans, and like clients, we get complacent. Clients get complacent. There's no room you can't afford a client to get complacent.
Right.
You can't afford your team to get complacent.
Agree. Totally agree. So let's flip it a little bit for a second, and let's talk a little bit about marketing. So obviously you've got an established brand, and it's evident that you've done a lot of work on not just your business brand, but your own branding, and like we spoke about before. How do you market your business today? What sort of strategies have you found effective? And again, just trying to give some advice to people who are struggling to maybe get clients in, or the right client in, or even the current clients they've got spending more money. What do you do at Beautyologist to gain new clients and to keep your clients engaged with your brand?
Sure. So, Billy, we've had to try numerous things, and the one thing I learned, and I guess the where we're at with social media is probably the best thing for us. So, engagement. And the good thing about it is it doesn't really, it does cost, but it doesn't cost too much. So it's not like back in the days we used to do print and then send it out and billboards and all this. It's now. So
$1,000 later, you've got no clients. What happened?
And AdWords. Well, I don't know. Can anyone afford AdWords these days? I don't know. It's certainly not cost effective for us, but people need to do their homework on those things and find what works.
Just to clarify, in case people don't know what AdWords are, we're speaking about Google Ads.
Sorry. Yeah. So, we certainly did our research and found that it didn't work for us. But that's just Beautyologist. I'm not sure, and that was our business model, but I'm sure there's things. So make sure you do your homework first. Make a list of everything and then try one thing every month. Give it a really good try. But for us, it was mainly social media that we focus on, and communication. So, and when I say communication, it's layers of communication. It's not just I'm going to put an ad out and I'm going to tell my team about it. No, it's sticking to one theme. It's sticking to one thing, being very simple and very clear, and it runs through all your social media, your website, your staff, your clients who walk through the front door, and all your EDMs, your email marketing.
Yeah.
So you've got to be really simple but very clean with everything that you do.
Yeah, it's so true. And one of the training, want to do one of the training units, I talk about business schizophrenia, and it's kind of like, having multiple personalities in your business from a client's perspective. So your social media could be really, really good. You've got all these like banging new images, and with Canva now, it's so super easy. You can make your business look like $1 million. And you have all this really, really great online marketing. They get to the front door and it's all dirty outside, and then the staff aren't looking good and they're treated quite rudely inside. And it's kind of like, oh, hang on a second, I had this impression that your business was this personality, but now it's this. But it can go the other way. You can be providing amazing customer service, amazing hygiene and great products, great service in the clinic. But if your marketing online is not consistent and that communication isn't consistent, then it builds a layer of mistrust with the client, and they go, and instead of them wanting to spend more with your business, it kind of prevents them to, psychologically speaking. So it's awesome that you touched on that. Do you do your own social media?
No, we work very closely with a strategist that helps us.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we do a lot together. We do all our videos. We do all our, what are they called? Those, my goodness, on Instagram, the video, the top.
Oh, the funny ones where they like stop halfway through?
Let me have a look at these. The stories, the little stories up the top.
The live stories. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
so we do all of that stuff ourselves. But as far as our images, so certainly, we will put out and say what we want, and then our social media person will run through with everything. But we are looking at bringing it in-house.
Okay, cool. So have you found Facebook or Instagram, Snapchat? Which one works best for you?
Instagram.
Instagram does. Right.
Look, you have to do them all. You have to do them all.
Yeah.
It goes without saying. You have to do them all individually that have a similar theme. So for us, it's been, you cannot miss out on Facebook. It has to be the same theme, but across it all. You can't,
Yeah. And it's so true because, at the end of the day, as much as I've got Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Facebook, I think we've got Tumblr and some other ones on there.
Oh my goodness,
I have to say, like, I'm a Facebook guy. And I think that's the thing, right? Facebook people are Facebook people. And maybe I'm showing my age now being like, I'm a Facebook guy. I think I'm getting older. But like Facebook people are Facebook people. As much as they want to try other things, that's their go-to, right? Instagram people are Instagram people. Snapchat people are Snapchat people. So it's so true. Like you've got to cover all the mediums. So you can't just be good at social media on Facebook because then you're missing the audience that are all on Instagram, and you're missing the audience that are on LinkedIn. You're missing the audience. Twitter's not so big in Australia, but you're missing these huge audiences in other areas. So, but you found Instagram works best for you. And is that for booking?
We find
engagement?
Engagement, definitely engagement. However, there are certain things that Instagram won't do. So you can't get up and do a video or actually talk for, a period of time on Instagram.
Yeah.
Whereas with Facebook, you can.
Yeah.
So you've got to kind of, I just say stick to one theme, and then run it through all your different social media. Yeah.
Cool. And Snapchat, do you get anything from Snapchat?
No, we don't really do much on Snapchat.
Yeah, me neither. But
just the filters.
The other week, one of my colleagues, or one of my ex-employees, but we're on really good terms. She messaged me the other day. She says, "Bill, why is your ad on Tinder?" And I was like, "What?" And she sent me a screenshot, and sure enough, our ad was on Tinder. And I was like, "Well, there you go. You can swipe left or right whether or not you like the ad or not."
No way.
Yeah, and if you like it, then it gives you more information about the ad that you can then scroll through to and click through to.
Interesting.
So there you go. Tinder, new market. There you go. Yeah.
Tinder.
So it gives people an excuse now. What are you doing on Tinder? I'm just doing market.
I'm wondering if Beautyologist can somehow make it up on Tinder. Cool.
Yeah. There you go. Let me know if you do. It'll be really cool. And to be honest, I don't even know how we did it. I'm sure it's to do with retargeting. So if someone can tell us how to specifically create ads on Tinder, or maybe it was bought by Facebook or something, and they're just kind of retargeting it.
I don't know, but that's a really good idea because the thing's busy.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's so busy.
Writing that one down.
That's the only thing you've taken away from this. Tinder.
Retargeting Tinder.
Retargeting for a date on Tinder. So one of the questions I really want to ask is this, right? There are people, there's a whole spectrum of people who are watching this interview. Those who are super struggling right now, and it's like, I'm pulling my hair out. I really don't know what to do. And you know, I even, I won't say who it is, obviously, but somebody said to me the other day, they go, I love these interviews. I'm getting so much from them. But to be honest with you, I kind of feel a little bit deflated. Like, you're interviewing these people and they're all doing so well. And I'm just here with my small little salon and I'm not doing so well. And I just kind of feel, you know, what am I doing wrong? And I kind of really need to reassure her that one of the biggest things in life is taking that leap of faith, taking that risk to open your own business. And that in itself, you should be really, really commended for. So if anybody else in that position is watching these interviews, don't feel that way, because everybody goes through challenges. As much as their Snapchat filter shows that they're having an awesome time all the time. You know, there's a lot of people who are having massive challenges with their business right now. So we have those type of people, and we have people in between who maybe are doing okay, but they want to take it to the next level. And then we have people who are doing really, really well, but they want to know how to really up their game and take it to like max 150% and open multi-sites and things like that. I want to know what your thoughts are on this. What is the difference between someone who is killing it and someone who is currently having challenges? I don't want to lead the question and give you my own opinion. I really want to hear what you have to say, because you're someone who has proven to be hugely successful, and you should be congratulated on all of your awards. So what is the difference?
I'm going to say your mindset, and I'm going to come back to, what I said earlier about you really need to be in it for the right reasons and really love what you do. Now, further to that, don't look at anybody else. You actually have no idea what people are going through. They might look successful. They might don't even think about what other people are doing. Focus on what you're going to do and find that something special. For me, it was retail. For me, I wanted to be a kid in a candy store and be surrounded with amazing retail. Find what it is that sets you apart and just focus on one step at a time with yourself. Don't look at other businesses. If I was to look at other businesses, you know, there's so many amazing laser clinics in there that, to me, you know, they could be going crazy and amazing. But I've got to focus on what I'm doing. And again, what is your mission? So find that. Further to that is also, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to other business owners and just having a chat to them. You know, I welcome anybody to give me a call, and I'm happy to give somebody, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of my time and have a chat to them about any struggles. I mean, I've certainly helped out ex-staff members and things like that, and I'm happy to discuss anything with anyone.
Awesome. Well, that's good, because if you don't mind, when we post this on Facebook, I'd encourage you to, there's been some requests from previous interviews from people who said, hey, can we do some Q&A afterwards? So if you don't mind, if people ask some questions, I'm sure you'd love to help out and answer some of their questions on there.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Awesome. So what's next? What's next for Sia and Beautyologist?
Well, I love developing. So I've got my Ismini heat pack range out. So that's so we make our own heat packs and we wholesale them to other salons. So that's one thing, and that's for gifts. So it's really easy gifts.
So how do just because you've taken your time out to help us with this and given everybody so much advice on this. If I'm a salon owner, Sia, how do I get in touch with you to order some Sina?
So just email info@Beautyologist, and I can send you out an order form. But they're beautiful and they're made locally and they're Australian, and they're really pretty, and it's a really easy sell for Christmas.
Awesome. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put it in the description. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'll put the link in the comment section, and you can contact Sia and get your own beautiful heat pack just before Christmas. How much are they? How much are they wholesale and retail?
Wholesale, so they're 100% markup. They're $44.95 retail. And they're huge, they're oversized. So they cover a client's full back or their full stomach.
Wow.
So they are really beautiful, and they look gorgeous, and they're all colourful, and really easy.
Lovely, lovely. Well, on that note, Sia, it has been an absolute pleasure. I've had a ton of fun just talking to you today, and this is the first time we've ever spoken. So, other than on Facebook chat. So, next time I'm down in Melbourne, I'm definitely going to hit you up, and we'll go for a coffee.
Absolutely, absolutely. And honestly, I welcome any questions or anything, and I'd love to help people out. I had a lot of mentors, and I still do. And so, if I can help anybody else, I'm certainly open to it.
Fantastic. Providing you're not at that beautiful beach behind you.
It's a sticker. The beautiful sticker behind me.
Steve and I had a joke about it just before we started the interview. But goodness me, that's funny. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a huge pleasure of mine. Congratulations on all your success. You're a real inspiration to so many people, and so many people nominated you to do this interview. So obviously it's recognised not just from the industry people who have given you the awards, but also your peers about your success. So congratulations. Good luck with everything in the future.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks, everyone. And good luck. Thank you.
We'll have a chat again soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you later.
Bye-bye.